All right, everybody, welcome back to the channel. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon and The Blackest Heart, both books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today, I'm going to be showing you my entire David Weber book collection. I've got them all right here behind me. I've been collecting David Weber for quite some time. I've actually met David Weber, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. Well, we'll talk about it now. I often do Comic-Cons around the country, and at Bard's Tower, which is the bookstore on the showroom floor of most Comic-Cons. That's where a lot of us authors gather together to sign books, and I have sat at several Comic-Cons and signed books next to David Weber. The only book that I do have signed by him is this one that he gave me a couple of years ago at Pensacola Comic-Con. And he did sign it for me. So that is the only David Weber I do have signed. He was actually kind enough to purchase two of my books, and I signed those to him also. You can see on Instagram my photo of me and David Weber together with our signed books in the photo. If you want to scroll through 1,000 of my photos on Instagram to look for it, go ahead. It's there, I promise you. Let's get to the David Weber books. I got quite a collection. Some of these books I have collected in both hardcover. I've collected 5 different series by David Weber. One of the series I've collected in both hardcover and paperback and audible.com, but we will go over that series last. Let's start with the shortest series and move to the longest series. So let's start with In Fury Born. Actually, this is just a standalone. This is just a standalone novel. So if you want to start, if you are wondering where to start in the David Weber books, we've got the Honor Harrington series over here, which is a good 20 books long. We've got the Safehold series, which is about 10 or 11 or 12 books long. We've got these other trilogies, but if you want to just see if you like David Weber, I would say start with the standalone novel, In Fury Born. It's about 1,000 pages. It's a big, huge, epic space opera, military space opera book. I've got both the hardcover collector's edition and the paperback, and it's a good starting point if you just want to see if you like David Weber without getting invested into a huge series, because he's got some huge series. So let's take a look at another trilogy he did. This is a trilogy he did early on in his career. It is I don't know what the name of the trilogy is, but it starts with I think Mutineer's Moon is the first book, and then the Armageddon Inheritance, and then Heirs of Empire. So together, they would go like this, I believe, this one being the first one. So we always review the covers, so let's talk a little bit about the covers. I do like the covers of the first two quite a bit. The second one is all right. The first two are actual painting illustrations. This one looks like a more computer-generated art. Probably done by David Mattingly, who does most of the David Weber artwork. So that's one trilogy. If you want to start there, you can do that. Another trilogy he wrote is in conjunction with another one of my friends that I oftentimes sign books next to, and that's David Flint, or Eric Flint. So we've got The Crown of Slaves, which is book 1. We've got Torch of Freedom, book 2, and Children of Ghosts, book 3. And the 4th book is coming out in the next year or two. And this is a collaborative trilogy that is pretty decent. It is sort of a spin-off of David Weber's much larger Honor Harrington series. And we'll get into that. Well, we'll get into that one next. But these are also some pretty cool illustrations. Again, I think, I can't be certain, but I think they are all done by, let me see. No, it doesn't say. I would assume these are all done by David Mattingly also, because he does most of the, like I said, he does most of the David Weber covers. And they're pretty good. They're cool. They look good together on the shelf. If you look at this trilogy, they look like they all belong together, so thumbs up. If you look at this trilogy, they sort of look like they belong together. Now this is the Honor Harrington series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 novels in the Honor Harrington series so far. I have them all in mass market paperback. If you look at them, it looks like all the spines look like they kind of go together, but not really. It's sort of a mishmash. Some of them match, some of them don't. It's honestly, it's a bit of a clusterfuck, but that's okay. Every single, I think that every single cover is done by David Mattingly, and he does a pretty good job. So we'll go through these one at a time. And, and you can see my review of On Basilisk Station. This is book 1, and I have left a review on the channel here. Elsewhere on the channel, just type in On Basilisk Station, and then my last name, Durfee. The review will come up. This is book 1 in the Honor Harrington series. It's a great start to the series. This is book 2, another great flashy cover. I do quite like it. Book number 3, another great David Mattingly piece of artwork. All the books that I've shown you so far are published by Baen Books, who do great science fiction. The series I'll show you last is published by Tor. This is Field of Dishonor, probably my favorite book in the series. Another great cover. Flag in Exile. Maybe this one is my favorite in the series. I can't remember. I'm rereading all of them and leaving reviews for the Honor Among Enemies. And if you want to know what this series is like, it's kind of like the Horatio Hornblower series of nautical novels, but set in outer space. Echoes of Honor. And our main character is Honor Harrington, a female captain of a big, huge, one of the Starfleet big, huge battleships. That one's a cool cover. I like that with the eye patch. War of Honor, and they get bigger. Each book gets bigger as the series goes along. Shadow of the... I remember I really liked this one too. And as the series goes on, like I said, these books get huge. Mission of Honor. See, you can see these are very, very military space opera type of books, and they're all just super dope. It's almost like I consider this like Tom Clancy in outer space. I really do. With Honor Harrington being our sort of Jack Ryan character. This is a good size book here. Shadow of Victory. Uncompromising Honor. You can see that each book has sort of a theme at all costs. Again, great illustration by David Mattingly of our main hero, Miss Honor Harrington. And so that rounds out the 18 books. And this series isn't done yet. I don't know when the series will wrap itself up. But let's move on to the Safehold series, which is my favorite series by David Weber. And it's represented here with all these books. I've got every single book in hardcover. And then of the Safehold series, I've got every single book in mass market paperback here also. So every book in hardcover, every book in mass market paperback, and I have every book on audible.com too. So let's take a look at the paperbacks. As you can see, all of the spines sort of match up. It looks like the series belongs together. Then if we look at the hardcovers, same thing. Every cover has a similar design to it. And if we were to take a look at the spines, you'll see that even the spines of each one of these books looks super fly. So let's look at these a little closer. I will pick up the hardcovers for a closer look at this. The Safehold series starts out as a grand space opera, but then turns into a straight fantasy. And it melds space opera and fantasy really super cleverly, in that the people that are in the starships, they've got nowhere else to go. Humanity has only one chance of survival, and it is to colonize this planet, but get rid of all technology so the bad guys that are chasing them can never find them. So what they do is they colonize the planet, destroy the spaceships, hide some of the spaceships deep, deep, deep under the earth, and then they create this sort of religion, this anti-technology religion. So even as their descendants grow up in sort of a medieval society, all their religious texts are against technology, or even advancing technology beyond sort of the medieval state that they're in, because they don't want the evil people out in the universe to find out where humans are, come and destroy them. That's the basis of the plot. So then the bulk of the plot takes place in this medieval society where it's just a medieval society. It's just a grim, brutal place to be, with lots of warring religions and warring factions, and lots of... if you want to see my review, a better description of what the whole thing is about, look up my review, Off Armageddon Reef, by David Weber. Just type in my name, Off Armageddon Reef. The review will come up and it'll explain the whole series better than I just did. But let's just take a look. You know, each cover has a similar design, which I really think is flashy. And then it's got a nice cover painting of some sort of medieval thing with space opera stuff in it. You know, by Schism Rent Asunder. Each title is a quote from a Bible verse. By Heresies Distressed. Again, we've got the medieval city and then the space opera-y stuff up front. Because the space opera stuff does play a big part in this. It's just very, very cleverly written in. Another, like, pirate ships, but then... again, more pirate ships, but then a spaceship here. Again, this is one of the most subtly clever fantasy stories I've ever read. I love these books. Another great cover with a spaceship plus a medieval scene. Like a mighty army. I mean, Tor Books has really done a great job of keeping a consistent look to every single one of these books. At the Sign of Triumph. And then probably my favorite cover of all, in his last book, Through Fiery Trials. It's just a dope cover. I love that. So that there, folks, is my David Weber collection. For those of you who know David Weber and read David Weber, you know I am missing several of the other series that he writes. So far, these are the ones that I'm into and the ones that I'm collecting. I don't know if I will ever collect anything else. He does 1,000 million collaborations with other authors. The only collaboration so far that I have purchased are the ones with Eric Flint, because I am also pretty good friends with Eric Flint. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you, like I said, if you want to start reading David Weber, I would check out his standalone novel, In Fury Born. That's probably the best place to get an idea if you like his writing style or not, because this writing style is pretty much what you're going to get throughout the rest of these books. Video over.